encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
You make me laugh, eh? Well, the time for laughing has passed. What is that over there? Holy crap, I got it. Everybody... this is all crap. This is crap. Oh. I don't know. It seems like my ears must have clogged up again. Anyway, good morning, folks. Good morning. It's Thursday, your second most favorite day of the week. I don't know. Is that true? I think Friday is your second most favorite day of the week because Saturday is your favorite, right? Am I right? Anyway, it's it's Thursday, February 29th, 2024. Leap year day, a day of leap, a day you want to leap. And if you don't know why leap year is a thing, let me just tell you, the calendar doesn't work very well. And every year we lose like a quarter of a day. And so the way to rectify that was to add one extra day every 4 years. Because the calendar just doesn't work. If we had no leap year, if we let it slide for like 100 years with no leap year, the seasons would be all off, the months would be all off. You wouldn't. So this is the best solution they could come up with. But my calendar is telling me today is the first day of Women's History Month, when it really is one last day of Black History Month, and Women's History Month should not start until tomorrow, right? That's right. It should start on March 1st. My calendar is either very racist or a feminist, or just they don't leap. It's not leaping. It's got to leap. So there's that. Listen, if you don't know about what's going on in the world of politics, the left is freaking out because the Supreme Court is going to hear Donald Trump's argument about immunity that he should have as former president, when he was president, blanket immunity for anything he might have done during his presidency. And that that's going to delay, but it shouldn't delay the criminal trial for January 6th stuff. It shouldn't. They should just go ahead with the trial as if the court is going to rule with some sanity. Now, the court is not going to rule with some sanity because they are in Trump's pocket. They're doing this to try to stall and push back any kind of court hearings until the election, hoping that Donald Trump might win. But here's the thing. Joe Biden needs to put on his dark sunglasses, grow a pair of balls, and take SEAL Team 6 down to the court and say, you want to make it okay for a president to just assassinate anybody who's in his way, because that is actually in the written argument that Donald Trump is making, that he should be allowed to use the SEAL Team 6 to assassinate his political opponents. If I were Biden, that's exactly what I would do. I take the Supreme Court, I take SEAL Team 6 down to the Supreme Court with me, put on my dark sunglasses, and say, "Go ahead, say I can do it. Say I can do it. You first, Clarence. Stand up, stand up, and say I can do it." And then I would go down to Mar-a-Lago and do it. If no more fucking around. You want to end democracy? You want to say the president can assassinate his political opponents with full immunity? That's the world you want to live in. If you want to play that fucking game, I got 5 Supreme Court justices to off right now, and then a political opponent. Like, it's silly. We cannot have a country where the president is above the law. That's called a monarchy. But they're going to play this game, and it's just silly. But if I were Biden, I'd call their bluff on it. Okay, here's SEAL Team 6. I'll give the order. Just stand up and say it. Say it's okay. But that won't happen because Biden doesn't have any fucking balls, and they know Biden doesn't have the balls to do that. So they're going to play the game. So whatever happens, happens. That's the bottom line with all this shit. But listen, more excuse to party now because shit is hitting the fan hard. Now, all this is contingent. The game they're playing is contingent on Donald Trump winning the election. So there is people still have a remedy in their hands if they so choose to go that way, is to make sure he doesn't win the election. But it's a 3-way election, as I've mentioned before, and I know people are not taking this seriously, but Robert F. Kennedy is definitely a monkey wrench in the whole system. So who knows what's going to happen? But again, comes down to more reason to party now. Party while you can. Eat, drink, and be merry, my friends. For tonight, for tomorrow, we may all be dead. Or actually, tonight could happen tonight. But you know what? That's what I would do. I probably going to get in some trouble by posting a picture of Biden with his dark sunglasses on, saying, "Thank you, Supreme Court. Thank you. Thank you for considering to allow me to assassinate anybody I want." Who doesn't want to the right to assassinate anybody they want? I would like that. So anyway, Willie is not here. I don't know if he's coming or he's overslept or he's. I think Willie's got another podcast he's doing at this time in the morning somewhere. He's cheating on us with another pod. Actually, yesterday I suggested that both GD and Willie are wasting their time every day, every morning. They're wasting 10 hours a week with this stuff. Willie said, "I can't believe you would say it's a waste of time." You know what I mean? Uh, I do. I don't think it's a waste of time for me because I got, you know what? I'm not trying to build a comedy career. I'm not, but 10 hours a week. Um, and I said this the very first day. I hope Willie's using this time productively and really, you know what? Doesn't need to be here 5 days a week. I would be working on my career. If I were him, I would take these 2 hours a day and do something productive with it. I'm not him. I'm an old geezer who's already done his penance, and I have 5 gigs this weekend starting today. Uh, and basically, uh, it's work for me, but it's not a waste of time. I enjoy doing it, and then if I had, I couldn't possibly use this time any. What am I gonna do? Go out and look for a gig. Now, somebody asked to see my comedy work the other day on they said, "Can I point them to some of my stand-up work online?" It's like, no, um, that's not what I do. I will. I'd like to do one or two just as a goof over the summer, but it's not in my plans. I'm not going to do that anyway. What we got in the chat room here? more importantly, there's 17 days till my birthday. That's Kelly. Kelly's birthday is 17 days away. That is, I think it's March 18th or March 7th. Is it St. Patrick's Day? I don't know. She did tell us that. I think it was the day after St. Patrick's Day, but it's not. That's not 17 days from now. That's 18 days from now, isn't it? I'm confused. Anyway, happy birthday. We're gonna. This is Kelly's birthday month. She's one of those people who's gonna get a month for her birthday, and we'll remind. If you remind me to say happy birthday to Kelly every day this month, and we'll do that. Um, Mike Vander will be here. Mike has been very busy performing at Funny Bones all over the Funny Bone world. Um, so he'll be with us at 9:15 today. We don't have a 10:15 guest, and that's fine because it's been what it's been. Last night I had June Edward on the program. June was a psychic medium who's been on this program, on the morning program, about 6 weeks ago, and we were still talking about her book. Now, going down the reincarnation stuff and um, you know how to make decisions based on your what your soul wants. A lot of things like this, but comes down to it. If you believe in reincarnation and that you're here to learn certain lessons and then you die and then you wait to be reborn again and then you learn new lessons based on the fuck ups you made the first go around. If you believe in that and the fact that it's all kind of predestined, that all your lessons, your lesson plan is written out by the teacher in advance, then there really is no regret for anything. You really are not in control of anything in your life. You're just riding along like a feather on the breeze, uh, trying to learn what's put in front of you. But some of us are not that great learners. And here's the thing: you would think the teacher, the teacher, would kind of get to know the student after a few, I don't know, 1,000 years, million years, whatever, and figure out he's not a quick learner. He's not a fast learner. He's not up quick on the uptake. Maybe I should make things simple for him so that he can learn it in one lifetime. Maybe he doesn't seem like the brightest bulb on the tree. Let me make it easy for him. But no. So maybe the teacher is fallible. Oh, is that blasphemy? I'm going to hell now. But no, she says you only go to hell if you murder somebody and don't show any remorse for it, or what was the other part? You take your own life, and so that those are the people who go to hell. So you basically, she was saying, if you, and I did not, I try to soften this a little bit by saying, she said, if you show remorse at the end, you go to heaven. So you can you can be Ted Bundy and go on a killing and raping spree all your whole life. But as long as you show remorse before you die and repent, you'll go to heaven. And so I said, basically, you don't want to put that out there. Like, you can't just fake remorse and repentance. Because a lot of people will use that as an excuse. Oh, I can be Ted Bundy my whole life. All I got to remember is when the bullet hits me, when the bullet hits me right in the brain, I got to think really quick to repent and show remorse. You're setting people up for a life of really, really shitty life. And the other part is, what good is a place like heaven if you have to share it with Ted Bundy? I brought up the Bill Burr stuff. Like, how am I supposed to enjoy heaven if my friends are in hell and my family is in hell? There's that part of it. But also, how am I supposed to enjoy heaven if Ted Bundy's got the room right next to me? Speaking of Ted Bundy, GD is here. Good morning, GD.
Good morning, minddogtv.com. Tonight, we all could be dead tonight.
Tomorrow, really.
Well, we could be dead tonight.
Well,
By
yeah,
tomorrow.
me.
You, us. Minddogtv.com, the place to go to get shit. Shit like this.
That's good. Get shit.
Shit like
Uh,
this.
Now, and you're in the mood to sing. Why don't you sing
Shit like
happy birthday?
this.
Oh. Why don't you sing happy birthday to Kelly? We're gonna every day. We should.
Because I accidentally wished her happy birthday earlier in the month, and she chided me, made mockery of me, and told me that her birthday was next month. And she made me feel this big, and as a result, I'm not wishing her happy birthday until her actual birthday. That way,
What
she
a
won't chide me again.
what a terrible thing to do. I can't
I
believe
know.
she's that low.
Yeah, she chided me so much so that I actually had to. I was in tears at the end of the show. By the end of the show, I was in tears. I was crying. I was weeping into my hair.
Wow. Oh, you had your hair done yesterday. Listen, I'm sorry to say this, but I can't tell the difference. It
Thank you.
looks like it
I
did
can tell the
yesterday.
difference. I can tell the difference.
Really? How much did
And
that? How
actually,
much
if you
did
did,
that cost you to tell the difference?
uh,
Come on,
no, 90. Actually,
90.
well, that's after tip.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, how much is the tip on top of that? All right, 90. All right,
It's 75, and then I tip 15.
all right. Now, are there women in this place? Where is it like a woman's salon that you go to, and then you just happen to be the is a co-ed
No,
salon?
it's co-ed. It's a dread salon. It just
Uh,
as long as you have dreads, it doesn't
that's
matter.
all they do is dreads. They
That's
don't do
all he
like
does is dreads. That's all he does is dreads. He is that's his entire business model. Now he does things with dreads. Like some people get their dreads dyed, some get their dreads styled, but we all go in to get the touch up, the traditional, tightening of the dreads, as we would. It's like the running of the bulls. We get the tightening of the dreads, and you
hmm.
know, so. But that's all he does is dreads.
All right. Now, is that's yeah, but is there any kind of because I can't think of his name now. Fuck, I'm
James. His name is James. Actually,
no,
he's my
not
stylist.
his name.
Oh,
This hairdresser I know who has it, Robert. God, I can't remember his last name. He's a very well known
Taylor.
hairdresser.
Robert Taylor.
Not Robert Taylor.
Okay.
He has a salon chain and it's called Sex in the Cinty. And the salon experience is more than just like hair, getting your hair done. It's a full
Rub and
day.
tug.
It could be, but no, it's I don't know, massage or extra like a day like it's like a spa experience. Any extras beyond the hair stuff? Are you just going in there? The guy's doing your hair. You're walking out.
No, I go in. He has like television with the Hulu and all the other things, but I don't usually. I can't listen to that because I'm under the dryer like for 2 hours of it. So
Right.
I
Wow.
work on my comedy while there. Sometimes like I'll work on sketches and stuff. Or
2 hours. Wow.
it's like putting them. Here's the deal. It could be less time, but to make it less time, you have to turn the heat up. You turn the heat up to make it dry faster, but then
Uh,
my scalp will burn like a baby's ass on a beach without sunscreen.
That's a stretch. I've never seen a baby's ass burning on a beach, but
Without
we
sunscreen.
without. Oh well,
But you
with
could
or
have
without.
seen it with sunscreen. I'm just saying. My scenario is without sunscreen.
You know, when I was a baby, they laid me out on the beach a lot. I'm probably but I was the kind of kid who never sunburned. I don't know. I had like built-in Guinea sunscreen or something. So
Well,
I
they
know
buried you in the sand.
that could be. Uh, yeah. So June Edwards was interesting last night, and we'll talk about that probably some point in the program. You know what? It was a different thing having her on a one-on-one without you and Willie there. So it's a different energy experience. It's kind of an hour is a long time to talk about reincarnation, and that's in whatever we talked about. Anyway, Mike Vander, Mike has been well, let me play a commercial before we bring Mike in. So just to get it out of the way. Today really is the last day to sign up for the BOGO deal at True Fire. So get on it now.
Just
BOGO.
one thing before, but since you mentioned last day, you was talking about the congruence between the African American month ending and Women's Month beginning, and the 29th is actually where Black women celebrate Women's Day.
They
It's
only
just
get that
for
one day.
yeah, it's just Black women So the 29th is just for Black women, and
I
then
can't
on the
wait for
first,
the
it's all women.
I can't wait for the 10 months of White Men's Month that starts next month.
Well, that's just yeah.
We
It
get
starts in April. Starts April 1st.
April 1st every year. Yeah, because anyway, True Fire, last day to get your BOGO deal. And if you don't know BOGO is buy one get
Black,
one for
black
everything
one,
they have on the sign. Yes.
black one.
Over 2 million guitar players worldwide learn, practice, and play with TrueFire. Our learning tools and massive library of video lessons will ignite your technical skills, harmonic knowledge, rhythm playing, and soloing chops. TrueFire's educators are the best in the biz, from Grammy Award
Best in the
winners
biz.
to world-renowned artists. You'll have access to an unparalleled faculty of over 300 top-notch blues, rock, jazz, country, fingerstyle, and acoustic guitar educators. Using our desktop and mobile apps, you'll work with TrueFire's multi-angle video lessons on any device, anytime, anywhere. Integrated learning tools such as video synced tab and notation, slow-mo, looping, practice jam tracks, and many more handy controls accelerate your learning experience. TrueFire style-specific learning paths guide you every step of the way. Use our assessment tools to find your starting point, then follow our lesson recommendations and track your progress as you work through your personalized TrueFire study plan. Progress faster with private one-on-one instruction, group lessons, multi-track video jams, live streams, song lessons, student forums, TrueFire's Riff magazine, premium jam tracks, and much, much more. With thousands of 5-star ratings and reviews from amateur and pro players alike, you'll find yourself in good company with the world's most comprehensive guitar learning platform. Grab your guitar and ignite musicality.
Invite
Sign
musicality.
up free for an all-access trial today.
Sign up free to get your all access. Doobly bop. Go to minddogtv.com and click on the banner so that we get credit for you joining up. Anyway, Mike Vander is here.
I have to ask Michael a question real quick. Something happened as soon as. Oh, go ahead. You go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, he has to be in the room before you can ask him a question real quick.
I can ask him now. He can hear me, right?
No,
Mike,
he can't.
Mike,
He can't hear you. He can't hear
me.
you. He can't hear you.
He can
No, you're on mute. You're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was muted.
He's been very busy. He's been funny boning his balls off. He's been funny balling his bones off. And he's here today. Let's just bring him in. I'm not good with the intros this week. Good morning, Mike. Oh, you're drinking a Monster drink.
Yeah, I'm hoping they'll sponsor at some point.
Now, you're in the office.
I am. I'm at work.
Do they know what you're up to right now?
They know about half of what I'm doing.
Okay. Tell us what you're doing, man. What's going on with you? You're working every night of the week, going to Funny Bones in every city in the country.
I don't know about every city in the country, but I'm getting there, man. We got a good show coming tomorrow to Yellow Springs, Ohio at Peach's Bar and Grill. Luke Capasso runs the show there. He's an incredible comic. He's awesome on TikTok and Instagram. So he booked me to do a set tomorrow at his show at Peach's, and I'm really excited about it.
You enjoying the ride?
Absolutely.
All right, GD has a question really quick.
Question, and it's only because I don't believe in coincidences. So I just wanted to know, is your zip code 21074?
No.
Okay, because as soon as you popped up in our green room, as soon as I saw your face, my phone gave me a sex offender alert in that zip code. So I just wanted to make sure that you weren't the sex offender that it was alerting me about.
No, you're not me.
Oh, okay. There's someone else.
Wait a minute.
I'm a sex offender from a different zip code. That's not my sex offender zip code.
That's very interesting. Now, why? I'm sorry, Mike. I have to take some time away from you and talk to GD about this. But why? Because I never got a sex offender alert ever in my life. Do you have some kind of app that makes you get sex offender alerts on your phone?
That's a good question. I just assumed everybody got them because it started appearing on my phone after I updated and rebooted it one day.
There is a town just south of me that has like a sex offender every 10 feet, and we never get it. I've never gotten an alert about it. So,
Maybe you don't have any sex offenders in Long Island.
no, there's a town just south of me that had one
Yeah,
every 10
right.
feet.
I, yeah, but that's a different town, isn't it?
It's just, yeah, it's just down the road here a little bit. But I
Yeah,
mean,
so your town may not have any
you
sex
just got
offenders.
one for a zip code that is in a different state.
No, it's the same. I guess it's the same state. Like I said, I didn't check. It just gave me the alert 21074,
All
and it
right,
just happened to pop up just as Mike's popped up. So I just wanted to make sure there was, you know, there wasn't.
21074. You say?
Yeah, yeah.
All
I
right, we'll
think it's.
find out.
Let me see. Hampstead, Maryland.
Oh, so yeah, it's Maryland. Mike's a Dayton, Ohio guy.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to be there now.
Oh, great.
He's an Ohio guy, but he could be in that zip code, especially if he's a touring comedian.
Well, he's not.
Oh, he's not.
No,
Oh, sorry.
he
Again, Mike, my apologies. It made you confess that you're a sex offender in a different zip code, and I apologize. I
It says
stand
the guy's
corrected.
got dreads, brand new dreads. He just had done yesterday. That's what it's saying.
It could be the other guy that was in the room with me.
Could be.
Yeah.
Anyway,
There are only two of us in Maryland with dreads.
Mike, are you familiar with Steven the sitcom Ortiz?
No.
Cause he was part of the world record breaking thing. Comedian from he's from I think he where's he from? I think he's from
Ohio.
no, I thought he was from Pennsylvania, but travels to Ohio. Traveled to
In his
Ohio.
wheelchair, then. He does it in his
Yeah,
wheelchair, but
yeah. But he was part of the thing that you were part of, the 82-hour thing in the Dayton area.
Really? And he was
Yeah,
in a wheelchair?
yeah. It's called the sitcom. That's his kind of moniker. Uh,
Huh.
yeah. So I was just curious. The two of you guys, I thought maybe you might have seen him or known about him because he was in the same thing that you were in just a couple of
I
weeks
was
ago.
there for a good chunk of the time, but I don't remember
His,
him really much.
I believe he went on at like 9 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, he
Oh,
did.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
You also have to forgive Matt. Matt just assumes that all white comedians know each other if they play the
that's
same
We
if
do.
they play the same city.
well, this the same record breaking what a
Get the same
festival.
show. Yeah, he just
Yeah.
assumes it's the same show with the
Yeah.
same producers and the same publicity and stuff that somehow you know each other.
Yeah. Well, it's not a bad assumption to make, actually. Anyway, so yeah, tell me about this thing with the funny bone stuff. Did you is that like are they all connected and they book you or you it's like separate shows that you're just hustling for yourself?
So that are you talking about the post that I have pinned to my profile?
Yeah, yeah, you were it's been a week. I got three different funny bones in three different
Yeah.
cities.
So they were all in Ohio. They were in Liberty Township, which was Cincinnati technically, and then the Columbus Funny Bone and the Toledo Funny Bone. It was one comedian who every time he makes it to this area of the country, he usually invites me on to either host for him or do a guest set. He's a real nice guy. I'm grateful for his opportunity. So yeah, he just happened to have been hitting those three funny bones
Very,
for 3 straight days while he was popping through on his tour, and I was able
very,
to do all three of those shows. It was a lot of fun.
yeah, very cool. Well, you know what? That's networking pays off and getting making connections like that.
Yeah,
So good,
definitely.
good for you. Good to see you hustling. Now you're enjoying the ride, though. It's because how far you travel? Like you got to be back for work in the morning, right?
Yeah, I don't usually don't go too far away, especially if it's a weekday. But I'm getting around in Indianapolis, Louisville, Columbus, pretty much anywhere that's within 4 or less hours of me.
Right. Yes. You know what? That becomes an issue. And we had a guy on yesterday who's like almost my age, close enough to my age, that he doesn't really have to work anymore. I mean, he does work, but he could just go on the road. Um, the job becomes like an anchor in a lot of ways. Yeah, and it kind of restricts your ability to go really more than like go away for a night, 2 nights, or whatever. Take go, or definitely for a week, right? So,
Yeah.
uh, do they understand that you have these ambitions and and
Yeah,
and
they
so on.
work with me, especially to like do stuff like this to get on the radio show, and they work with me about if I need to step outside for a couple hours to do whatever, go meet with a potential booker, or like tomorrow I'll be on a local news station promoting the show on Saturday. So they work with me. They understand that I got this going on as well, and that I'm
All right, you
hoping to.
mentioned promoting the show on Saturday. Tell us about the show on Saturday.
So that's in Yellow Springs, Ohio, right down the street from Dave Chappelle's new club. It's at Peaches Bar and Grill. My good friend Luke Capasso, he books this show once a month, mostly. And yeah, I hit him up and asked him if I could get on one of those, and he put me on immediately. The headliner's Ray Jackson. He's one of the funniest guys. He's been doing comedy all over the place for the last 20 or so years. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. A lot of good comics on the show that I've worked with in the past and look up to them.
Well, that's good for you. I hope that works out now. Are you gonna bring something to drop off? A little press kit, something to drop off at Chappelle's Club down the down the street. I would.
I'll think about it. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, just drop something off. Hey, what's it? I'm always thinking, yeah. So you got a good gig for Saturday night, but you got to be thinking about the future as well, all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Um, yesterday on Facebook, my friend Derek Sheen was making fun of comedians. I don't know if you're aware of this. Let me just tell you quickly the story. If you know it, you can stop me and say I know about it. Seattle Comedy Club sent out a letter to 4 comedians: Kurt Metzger, Louis J. Gomez, Jim Florentine, and Dave Smith, saying,
Yeah, I heard about it.
yeah, so basically they took it as cancel culture. The way I read the letter was that it could be cancel culture, but it's this. It's that the clientele that goes to that club would not appreciate your brand. It's not down with your political humor, and then you're not going to sell any tickets. Basically, you're not going to sell any tickets. We have to cancel the dates. Kurt Metzger went and put the letter on social media and basically was inciting people to attack the club about it. But right at the end of the letter, it says clearly, if you have any concerns or questions, please call us directly and we'd be happy to discuss this with you. He took the opportunity to take it to social media and kind of incite cancel
Yeah.
culture in the name of cancel culture. And I think that's pretty fucking hypocritical, but also kind of funny that,
Yeah, I think seeing it comedically is the best way to look at it. But I don't think it's going to help him in any way. I don't understand why he did that. Like the comedy club has every right to book whoever they want to book. If they, I get the only real argument on his side is that they were already booked and then they got yoinked from their dates. So I
yeah,
can see how they can be like, well, if you booked me, that means you should have done enough research about what I do. Like, why book me in the first place if you're just going to come to a different conclusion later? But
yeah,
other than that,
absolutely.
like most of the guys that posted about it, like Louis, I think Louis Gomez was one of them, came out and said he was like, I mean, I get it. Like my humor is not for everybody, and that club's got every right to do whatever they want as far as
Yeah.
who they put on their stage.
Well, that was kind of funny. It's because I responded to Gomez because Gomez was saying having people attack the club and go after the club is not productive, and I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
that's exactly what you're fighting against. This idea of uh, inciting a mob to do your business for you. And so, but I said, you know what, you guys started the fire. You threw the gas on it. Now you're telling people call a fireman. That doesn't work for me. But apparently he was not down with publishing the letter and all that stuff. One of the guys, Jim Florentine, got his gig back by doing the right thing, calling the club and having a conversation with them.
Yeah.
And that's to me the direct way to do it is the best way to do it, rather than just kind of think you're gonna get the social media to fight your battles for you, and that's what Kurt Metzger did. So
The thing
I
that
just
bothers me most is that those guys are like, I mean, they're not on Netflix or Amazon, but like they've made it. They tour the country headlining comedy clubs. So like one club takes you
right.
off of their bill and all boo freaking who. You lose one gig. Like I would Yeah.
That's exactly my point. It's like, you know what? You be in this business long enough. One gig is one gig, and you understand that basically they gave them enough time to find another gig. You know, it was
Yeah.
plenty of advance notice. It's one gig. It's not like your career is getting canceled.
Right.
It's a replaceable night on your calendar. And you're right. Yes, they are all of them. I can't say for their financial status because they could be, still broke, but they are definitely working comedians, full-time working comedians, and so one night should be easy enough to replace. And I think Gomez even said that he booked a night in the same city, just a different part of the city for that same night anyway. He had plenty of time to make
Yep.
that adjustment. So it's just crazy. Now, when you see shit like this drama, are you taking like notes and make it for the journey ahead, like how to prepare for for the bullshit that's going to come your way in show business?
Yeah, I actually had a really good conversation with a couple of my fellow comics just the other day about guys who are just seemingly always trying to like tear down other comedians, or and it's always coming from a place of like jealousy and bitterness, like, oh, I don't think they should be getting booked this much, or they haven't been doing this long enough. And I don't know, I've kind of took a stance against all the bitterness and jealousy, like especially me being new to this, still only a couple years in. All I have to do is just be nice to the people who book me on their shows, tip the wait staff, don't drag them on Facebook, just kind of, yeah, be as kind as I can to everybody that I meet, my fellow comics and the people who book the shows, because all the bitterness and the hatred, and it's not going to get anybody anywhere.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but there's an adage: "Nice guys finish last."
That's where
That's a sex
boundaries come
addict.
into play.
That's a sex
We
addict,
can,
though.
and I guess respectful is the better way for it.
Yeah, no,
Take
I
the
get it.
hand of the person booking you. Make sure you tip their wait staff well when you're done at the end of the night. And respectful is the better way to put it.
No,
Having boundaries is
I,
obviously,
yeah, I was just being a little bit silly there. To be honest with you, I prefer to finish last. Let everybody else finish first. I want to keep going.
yeah,
I'll,
because it
but
feels good no matter how long you're on there.
yeah, but being a nice guy definitely is, nice guy. I said last week, no more Mr. Nice Guy, and GD was shocked that I ever was a nice guy. But in dealing with business, I think you have to kind of roll with the punches and basically, you know. Things are gonna happen. Things you're gonna listen. I'm half my gigs, not half my gigs. I'm exaggerating. In the between April and September, or almost all my gigs are outdoor gigs. So I'm subject to being canceled by weather or anything else within a half hour notice of a gig. It's not like I don't have 6 months to find another gig. So
Right.
I've learned to roll with those punches pretty easy, waiting for a phone call. Should I leave the house? Type
Yeah.
of thing. I have a gig tonight. Should I get on the road or should I? Now, sometimes I've actually driven 3.5 hours to get there. As I pull into the parking lot, got the phone ring. Up, show's canceled tonight. It's like you couldn't.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of gigs by design. I was at the point where at one point I was just so busy that I was miserable. So I said, what makes me happy? I like to do like maybe 1 or 2 gigs a month, and I'm happy. And so, but then I had one month where I had like no gigs, and the next month I had like 4 gigs, and then one canceled, and I was going by average. I'm like, God, okay, but I was fine with the place canceling. I understood, but they only gave me it was a 90-minute set. It was just me, but they canceled like 2 days before because they were afraid I was going to be too offensive.
Hmm.
But they had like 3 months to find out how offensive they thought I was going to be.
Offensive. Wow.
Yeah.
But not based on anything political, right? Or what was it political?
No, that's just it.
Yeah.
I designed my set for their audience.
Right.
It was a 90-minute set. It was musical parodies. So, but some of the songs, depending on the song, may have too much sexual innuendo, maybe not
Holy
enough.
crap.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, we're all adults here. It's not like it's a family friendly show. It's not
right,
built.
right. It was not.
But so I'm just a little confused now because I thought you were doing things every week at the doghouse thing.
Those are not shows. They turn into shows because other comics don't show up. So
Ah,
like this Tuesday, Ron is still in town. I ran the open mic. We had an audience. I was the only comedian, so I did an hour and 5 minute set.
Wow.
So
Very good.
it turned. So I'm just saying. So I'm getting my chops in. I did like new material, old material, and especially since it was like a new audience. So, the material. A lot of the new material was like new to them. It was like maybe 4 years old for me, but it was new to them.
Right.
Some of it was like brand new, where other people haven't even smelled it yet, let alone seen it or heard it. And
All right. I want to, Mike. Are you part of the Blueprint Comedy Success Barry Katz thing, or did you sign up for that?
I haven't signed up yet, but I did. I found the link for it and looked into it and noticed a
I,
lot of big names on there. I just haven't signed up yet.
yeah, I'm interested because there's a lot of people I know on there, and just from back to
he
GD
likes
for
them all. He likes them all.
not all of them. But I noticed in the comedy competition that GD had done an entry that was pretty offensive. I have to say, I would cancel that guy in a second.
Yeah.
But
He was canceled once before. He was canceled before.
now talk to Mike about this. Are you getting? Do you feel like you're getting value out of that? Is that helping you? That whole blueprint. Do you see any uh, perceived value at this point? You're just like 3 or 4 weeks in, but
And each week is like different. Like this coming Monday is like a writers group thing where they're working, shopping ideas. I signed up to attend it, but I don't need it. I don't need a writers workshop per se. Not at this point in my career, I don't need a writers workshop. But and the ideas I have, I'm not going to shop them with other comedians.
right.
And
Uh,
now I so and as
yes.
far as I don't know that it depends on what. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that they can help me with where I am and the kind of help I need. I think the one thing I have picked up is that most of what I need is going to have to come from me and a lot harder. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
that's
Interesting.
one of the things. I mean, because like as far as okay, if they're going to make me a better comedian, I'm a good writer. I'm a very good writer. I'm a good performer. The only thing that's going to make me
You're
a
a terrible
better
reader, though.
terrible reader. I'm an awful reader. But the only thing that's going to make me a better performer is to perform more. I'm performing roughly an hour set every week. Okay. So, and yeah. So I'm performing an hour set almost every week.
Right.
That's, again, that's not a lot. If you're like a professional, it's not a lot. But in my life, with what I do, an hour a week of comedy and doing it in one spot for one audience, as opposed to having to jump, doing like 7 minute sets and jump to 7 clubs to get an hour.
All right. Let's take this back to Mike for a second because
Yes.
Mike, if you did an hour a week, because I'm thinking the sets you did at those three Funny Bones were probably 20 minutes or less, right?
Yeah, 10 to 15.
Yeah, so an hour a week would be 4 gigs. At-
Yeah.
yeah, so that would be really good experience. I think the issue of breaking it into chunks of stuff that you because are you doing the same material in that the 3 gigs like for 3 nights in a row? Did you do pretty much the same set?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, that comes back to what Al Baker, the Baker, the faker magician, told me when I was a kid. Was this idea of to be a professional, you do the same stuff for a different crowd every day, every night, whatever. And an amateur is going to do basically new material for the same audience over and over again. In other words, he was talking about magicians. You have to go to the magic shop and buy new tricks to do for your family and friends every time. That's an amateur, even if you're getting paid for it, but it's the same audience. But you got to keep updating your act all the time. But it's just the concept of perfecting your act, getting it down, and doing it the best you can. So that 10 to 15 minutes is a whole different thing than GD doing a new hour every month, once a month, or once a week even. It's a whole different experience, right?
Yeah, definitely. I've gone with I guess you call it a slow and steady approach, where like right now, all the jokes I've been working on for the last 2.5 years since I dove into this, they total about 30 minutes of material, and that's it. That's my stand up, and then I've got my music alongside of it. So add a couple songs. I've only got 45 to 60 minutes of material to perform at comedy shows, but it's stuff that I've polished up over time and written new tags for it, have a new punchline here and there.
Yeah, that I think there's something to be said for that, and so I think basically coming back to the blueprint stuff, I think it would be more helpful for somebody like you who was just working on a set to perform to people rather than somebody who's always like adding new material and rewriting a whole new month, a whole new hour every month or something. It'll probably be more helpful for somebody like you. But anyway, Willie, you look a little upset. What's the matter? You're not smiling. You're
Now, you constipated, Willie? Is that what the C is for? Constipated?
I do usually shit before I'm on the show in the morning. I have not done that, so maybe that's
Take a
maybe
break.
I'm gonna probably be more especially full of it today. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've been moody the last couple of days. I'll admit I've been moody.
drink this. Drink this. It will help.
Yeah. All right. All right. Anyway. Sorry.
You want to?
Do you remember that? Do you remember the talking fish from Pee-wee's Playhouse? Anybody? That's how I learned how to talk like that.
Wow. You know, my wife has been watching this thing on her phone, Blacklist. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, I've seen that show. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I've seen probably half the series.
James Spader.
Yeah.
He's really fucking good. But
yeah, I liked him in Wolf. Remember Wolf with Jack Nicholson? He was in that.
I looked up his credits for her because she wasn't familiar with him, and I saw Wolf, and I don't remember that movie. But
it's a very good movie.
But the reason I brought it up was because you just brought up Pee Wee. Pee Wee Herman was in an episode of that. He was a bad guy, and she's watching. I was like, "That's fucking Pee Wee Herman!" Like you couldn't tell it was
actually
him.
Paul Rubens, but you know,
right. But he had a episode on that, and then Andrew Dice Clay played a brain surgeon.
What? Yeah, that's top notch acting for Andrew. That's
pretty. I was like, "That's Dice." But
I can see a plastic surgeon. I can see Dice being a plastic surgeon all day. A brain surgeon, holy shit!
But he was still talking like Dice, even though he wasn't doing the hickory dickory dock stuff. It's
still
funny.
Sounded like you might be getting your organs from the street. You mean?
Yeah. Hey, Red, you know me. That it's just funny to hear the Brooklyn accent. He can't be a brain surgeon and talk like Dice Clay. If you've gone to medical school, they will beat the Brooklyn out of you.
I think it's a prerequisite to get into like medical school.
You have to stop being from Brooklyn.
That and hillbilly. You can't talk hillbilly if you're a brain surgeon either. Could you imagine that? Fucking talking like some backwood motherfucker.
We're just gonna we're gonna clip this aneurysm real quick.
Yeah,
get you up out of this hospital.
Matt, can I back up on something real quick?
Take the Sigma Jew out you.
Why does everything have to be real quick with you, GD? It doesn't have to be real quick. We have time.
Yeah, but you're gonna cut me off anyway. So no.
Right. I'm gonna cut you off. I'm gonna cut you off anay. So
yeah, but this way gives the illusion that I was ready to be cut off.
Oh, go ahead. What do you want to back up on?
You was asking me about the blueprint for success thing, and I was talking about the writers part. You know, like
right.
Monday they're having a writers thing. There is a writers group, or Dylan Brody, a comedian out of Los Angeles. He does a writers workshop.
Right.
I would recommend his writers workshop to the dude, because he actually knows more about comedy than most people will ever know. He's a really, really, really good writer and a really good comedian.
No, I know. I know Dylan pretty well. Also, Matt Knutson has a writers workshop where he not necessarily a workshop, but he'll work one-on-one with writers on perfecting this. All that stuff is great. But I was just seeing how like our friend Vander might benefit from it if he could at all. And I was thinking basically the idea of if you are perfecting a 15-minute to 20-minute set, that it might be more beneficial for somebody like that rather than somebody who's continually always writing a new hour or a half hour or whatever it is. So Anyway,
Basically, I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I don't write like a whole new hour. What it is I have like roughly 10 hours worth of comedy, and right now I'm trying to I'm putting together a 90-minute show, hopefully for June or July. And so I have like 3 hours worth of material that I'm whittling down to 90 minutes. And so I'm working that, and then stuff is always happening so I'm writing new stuff as well. But I'm trying to whittle down 3 hours to like around 90 minutes.
all right. Vader, any things you've learned from these short road trips that are applicable of it you might want to share with people on your level of comedy, just in a few years, things learned from these short road stints that you're doing, lessons learned for applicable to the business?
Every crowd is completely different than the crowd that you saw before. Jokes that one night will get applause breaks and standing ovations might result in crickets 24 hours later.
Well,
but then another joke that didn't do well the night before might do well that night.
Yeah. Well, that kind of that is different than the music business. Basically, the songs that work in one place are going to work in another place. You might want to switch up from night to night just for your own personal energy on the stuff. But generally, the ones people respond to. That's really that's a difference between comedy
with
and
music. A crowd to see a music performance knows the etiquette. They know when the song's over, let's clap it up.
Yes.
Let's cheer. They know to do that. Even if they didn't like the song, they're probably going to do that anyway.
Right.
Comedy is a little more cutthroat, where like if your joke's not funny and it gets silent, that makes you look really, really bad. But if you can supplement that by just commanding the volume of the room as one person the whole time you're on stage, that works out. That can kind of mask somebody who's bombing or not doing very well, as if their voice is what everybody hears at all times. Same thing as a music performance. It's loud as shit in there. It's all people can hear. You're not going to be able to tell if somebody's booing you because you're playing your music really loud. If I'm doing the joke and it doesn't do well, it's on to the next one immediately. I can't expect everybody to laugh at every one of my jokes. And if they don't, I have to know to keep it pushing and keep talking and move on to the next joke.
Why I don't understand. Why can't you expect that? If they don't laugh, why can't you just go out and make them laugh? Get a new audience, fire them. You have the power. You're in charge. You have
where are these supplemental audiences that you keep in your back pocket? You keep talking about trading in the audience. Just get yourself. You know what?
Yes. You're in charge. Mike, you have the microphone. You have the power, okay? You're the man. If the audience is not laughing at you, you fire those fuckers and you get another audience, okay? Get those seats, fill them, put them in there, man. You comedians are just taking y'all just taking it in the ass when you don't have to. I'm saying you guys have the power. You guys have comedians have the power, and we need to start exercising it. We need to unionize. We join local comedians.
I can't get this stun gun to work remotely if I could.
I know, right? Jesus. My God. I can't wait to get zapped with that thing, by the way.
Oh, there it is. But it won't work remotely. I can't.
We're going to have to record that,
Oh, you got the wrong guy. Fuck.
Got the
wrong time. Thank God.
In all the shit that I was talking about in the opening this morning, I was remiss in mentioning the passing of Richard Lewis. Now, Richard Lewis is very successful, almost iconic in the comedy business. I have to admit that when I first was exposed to him, for the first 10 or 15 years, I didn't get him at all. And I would see him on late night and like, what are people laughing at about this guy? How was he on Johnny Carson and David Letterman so often? And it just didn't make any sense to me. Now I watched some of those clips last night because it was the thing to do. And I was like, this is fucking hysterical. Why didn't I get it then? Were you guys fans? This is out for everybody. Were you guys fans of Richard Lewis and appreciate where he was coming from?
Yeah.
I never saw him and didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, to me, I'll just put this out there that he was kind of making fun of me because he was so fucking neurotic. Not making fun of me like he didn't know me, but I'm the kind of he was overplaying the neurosis and the craziness and the quirks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been why I didn't get it, because that's just the character that he embodied was actually me. Yeah. And I couldn't see it. I was too close to it. That's what it felt like.
That adds up.
I didn't see much of his stand-up or whatever, but what I saw of him in movies, like the thing that always stood out to me was I remember him from Robin Hood Men in Tights, which is one of my favorite movies. And he played like the king or whatever, and like his mole always moved, and
moving mole.
See, that's me.
Yeah, you know, like and like the bubble bath scene where he had the girls blowing the horns into the bubble bath. That's one of the best scenes of that movie. I love that. Like,
we can disagree. We can agree to disagree on what the best scene of that movie was, but
I said one of. There's a lot of good scenes in that movie.
Okay.
That's such a good movie.
You're wrong, but I'm not going to point it out in public. That's different. I'm not. You're wrong.
It's a matter of opinion. You can't be wrong about a matter of opinion.
That's right.
Okay, you can be wrong about that too. But
don't challenge us.
Mel Brooks, who was responsible for that movie, he actually tweets out his own tweet. I believe he tweets out his own stuff on Twitter. He was on Twitter last night. He said, "I was so sorry to hear that we lost Richard Lewis. I will miss him very much. He was so funny, and I was so lucky to have him in Prince John in Robin Hood Men in Tights. But I was even luckier to have him in my life now, because I'm thinking about this in terms of." What Mel Brooks was an old man when I first became aware of Richard Lewis, who was older than me. Mel Brooks just tweeting for himself was an astonishment to me that he felt the loss of Richard Lewis and went to Twitter to express that. That to me was like, wow, Mel. Mel is.
That serves two purposes. The first purpose is he gets to share his grief. And a public thought. Another thing is, I'm still alive.
Yeah, yes.
We need that from Mel Brooks at least once a year to let us know that he's still around.
And we have a movie you can watch in case you didn't know.
Right. Yeah.
So
whenever somebody passes away, like all their movies and stuff, like people are going to be watching Richard Lewis content like crazy the next.
I did last night. I watched at least 6 or 7 clips from late night appearances just to refresh my memory about what it was that I didn't get about him.
And so great.
Well,
you didn't get, but
I get now though.
Other ones were like.
When I watch him now, I'm like, that's fucking hysterical. He was one of the bits that he. It wasn't a bit. He wasn't coming out and doing stand-up. He went immediately to the couch on Johnny Carson. And that was something he wasn't used to doing. He came out and did, a few minutes of stand-up before he ever got invited to the couch. And he was talking about his neurosis of being on a plane with Johnny Carson for 7 hours, sitting across the aisle from him and not wanting to look at him. He was afraid to look at him. He was afraid he was going to, but he was playing it off. He said, Ed, you be Johnny Carson and I'll be me. And Ed was just sitting there doing nothing. He just kept going back to, oh, you're doing great, by the way. Yeah. But I was just like, just total nervous energy and all stuff. It's like, man, this is why I didn't get him, because I was full of all that same nervous energy that he was full of. So.
With the passing of Richard Lewis, just so people understand, I have moved up one more rung in the comedy hierarchy.
Don't assume that. Don't assume that.
Did. When he died, I moved up one rung.
No, actually, Vander leapfrogged you yesterday. So
not he did not. I have the standings right here. I am now the 1,186,788th funniest comedian on the planet.
81st.
788th. I got it right here.
89th.
It's right here in writing.
89th.
Where's yours written? Mine's written right here.
We'll just round that down.
It's right there. Yeah.
So I moved up one more spot in the comedy hierarchy. So
yeah.
Wait, so once they die, they can't be on the hierarchy ladder anymore?
No. Their residuals can, their material can, but they cannot because they're no longer in competition.
I still got Dangerfield in the top 15.
No, oh no, he's been gone. His spot has been taken. His spot was taken by Ralphie May until he died. And once he died, Ralphie May's spot was actually filled
Bob
by.
Saget, and then one Bob's. Yeah.
And then
All right. I see a
So, but that's
pattern.
how it goes. Those spots are constantly moving. And like
You know,
for me as a comedian with a drug problem is like my best friend because that is like my best hope for my career to advance. Is for
why
them
aren't
to
we better
OD,
friends than GD?
huh?
I said, why aren't we better friends then?
Because I don't want to have to mourn your loss. I want to
I
benefit from
would
your
no,
loss.
I would say because Will has good taste in friends. Is
Yes.
probably the reason for that.
So the best thing for my career is for other comedians to die. Just me with
I,
drug problems,
Amen. I'll
emotional
keep that in
problems.
mind.
I
I'm
love
gonna
Robin Williams.
I'm gonna put something out there, and you guys can tear me a new one if you want, or just disagree, or just maybe agree if you want. One of the things that really, when a celebrity dies, whether it's a comedian or musician or film star or anything, people want to pay tribute on social media, but they do it in the most awkward way where it seems like they're making it about themselves. Like,
Right.
I'm so sorry, Richard Lewis died. I always loved, and then I always remember, and I remember meeting him once, and it's always like, let's make this about me. The guy just died, and how can I make this all about me? Moment, and that stuff really pisses me.
That is exactly what I do on purpose. When a comedian dies, I say rest in peace. I have moved up one more spot in the hierarchy, and it's a complete. It's like a nod to what you just
Well,
said.
once again, you're wrong about that, but and I know you're going to say you're right, but that just proves how wrong you are about that because you don't know when to stop beating a dead horse, as we've proved many times on this show. But
First of
you,
all, if
you
you
take
don't
it for
beat the dead
granted that you're
horse, he
moving up.
won't get tender. If you don't beat a dead horse, he won't get tender. So you don't know. You
I
have
mean,
to
that
beat a
is some
dead
pretty
horse.
rough meat. I will say that's
Thank you.
some tough
Thank
meat.
you.
You do want to tenderize that. That is for
Yes.
sure.
How are you supposed
Peter's
to?
going to have a field day with this show.
How you? Carl wants to know how you're supposed to say it. The collective appreciated Lewis. You can say it without ever using the word "I." That would be a good. Good
mentioning
I mean, I
starting
think
place.
people are just trying to relate, like how his body of work affected them or made them feel. I don't think there's anything wrong.
That's
with that. I
fine. You
think
can
it's just how
say
people
that.
relate.
There's nothing wrong with that. But the idea of Richard Lewis just passed. Here's a picture of me with him. How much he loved me, and people how great friends we were. And they weren't really great friends. If you weren't talking about him for the last 20 years, you weren't talking about your great friendship with him. The minute he passes, he was your best friend. we were close as anything. Well, how come I never heard you mention him before?
I guess it's just a matter of if they're being honest or not.
Yeah.
Because some people, like if my best friend died, I probably would post pictures of him and I
Absolutely.
the next day. But that's because he really was my best friend. So
no, that's absolutely true.
As soon as they die, that's when they become my best friends. Like, for example, I never met Richard Pryor my entire life. Never met Richard Pryor. As soon as he died, I started immediately talking about all the things we did together, and he could. You ask Richard if you want. Richard can verify this. You know what I'm saying? All the things that we did together, all the fun we had. As soon as he died, as soon as he was no longer able to challenge it, that's when I did it.
Mike, I just want to say, if in your path here, and you're looking for comedians to gain insights and perspective from, don't ever look to GD. He just like,
oh my god, that's so mean.
Clueless.
Why would you say that?
Clueless.
I'll hit him up anytime I need to know where I'm at on the comedy hierarchy list.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is check in with the Comedian Union Local 420. They keep a track of it. That's part of what they do. So
let me just kind of back up here. Now, I totally agree with that. If you were genuinely, we know the people that were. I mean, and there were a lot of them. Richard Lewis had a lot of people in his life from this comedy experience, but you know those people. But when you see somebody who is, I don't know, 30 years old now and in comedy, and they post a picture of him basically with them and trying to suggest that they were close friends, and they weren't. I mean, Richard Lewis he had a lot of friends, but he wasn't friends with everybody he took a picture with. And there are a lot of people who are just trying to use that moment to say, okay, look at me. I met Richard Belzer, Richard Lewis, Richard Lewis once.
Another
And
example, though.
yeah,
Did
yeah,
you
because
just
they
like travel in time a few
Right.
months back or what?
no, that was a year ago. Believe it or not, it was a year
That
and
was a year ago?
a year and a couple of months ago that Belzer died. Yeah, it came up my Facebook things, Facebook memories about Belzer passing, and a lot of people were upset about that the same things when Belzer passed, and that's probably why it's in my head. A lot of people were just claiming closeness that it just didn't exist. But
Ooh.
And I was just
Man.
happy to move up one more spot.
Oh my god!
I meant to tell you this, Matt. A couple weeks ago, I was in Columbus at a comedy show, and a lady came up to me. She was like, "I recognize you from somewhere," and she's like, she's not from, I think she's from Chicago. So like, her and I had never done a show together before, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, you're Vander. I saw you on Coffee with the Dog. I guess she came on here like the week after me or something." Danielle
Oh,
Wernstall,
Warnick, no,
something like that. I think it's
yeah, yeah.
Wernstall.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyhow,
Very cool. You know what?
yeah.
I got recognized the other night by somebody. It's always a weird thing. It's like, oh yeah, but they never get my name right. They never get the they recognize your morning mustache guy a lot. I get that kind of stuff. Morning mustache guy.
hey,
Morning
listen. You know what I get when people recognize me from a show or whatever? Hey, you're
A
that
rash?
one nut guy, right? You're the one nut comedian guy, yeah. Or
Yeah.
the flower shop. It's either flower shop or one nut guy.
Do you
Wow.
really only have one nut?
Yeah, yeah.
We-
I lost.
Half
I
sack.
lost my.
Nice.
You
Yeah.
know, I have a lot of
Yeah.
friends who have one nut, and it's
It's way
amazing.
more common than people think. Actually.
Yeah, it is. I must be, but you're the only
Most
one,
people just don't talk about it.
right? And you're the only one who got the missing nut shot off. So
I mean, I'm probably not the only one.
My middle brother only had one testicle. He lost it in the military.
I know a guy that got kicked in a fight. The dude he was fighting had cowboy boots on and kicked him in the balls, and it fucking ascended up into his fucking shit, and it wouldn't descend.
so you got
they had to
Heimlich him and
surgically
you
remove
spit it out.
No, they had to surgically remove it. It was fucking terrible.
Anyway, yeah. So Saturday night, let's Mike, you got to get back to work, or you hanging for a while? Because I wanted.
I got like 10 minutes. I got to be out of here at 10:15.
All right. Well, I just want to plug your show again Saturday night. Tell people where it is, and it's down the road from Dave Chappelle's place. That's what we know.
Yep, Yellow Springs, Ohio, Peaches Bar and Grill, hosted by Luke Capasso, headlined by Raymond Jackson. 9 p.m. on Saturday, March 2nd. Tickets are $10 on Eventbrite.
Not bad. Good deal there. Now, have you been there before? You know the crowd, what the crowd that goes there? Because Bar and Grill sounds a little scary to me. For a music, for me, it would be my dream gig because I love playing bar and grills as a musician. But as a comedian, where you have to talk to people and talk over people, I'd be a little bit intimidated by that. Have you been there and know the crowd?
Yeah, I saw him. He hosted a show there just a couple months ago. I want to say back in November. Lori Graves headlined it, and it was an amazing show. He always brings a good crowd. The cool thing about it is that Yellow Springs is like a hippy dippy town. So yeah, it's at a bar and grill. You would assume it's more of a rustic audience, but no, it's a bunch of hippy dippy people that come out and they love comedy. Obviously, Dave Chappelle kind of blew up Yellow Springs with people who enjoy the art. So yeah, he always brings a great crowd out.
I get it. It's just, and rustic doesn't bother me at all. It's just, are they prepared for comedy? Because in a bar, people either generally go in there to score or they'll pick up, make a love connection, whatever that is, or have conversation, just not to listen to somebody else talk. And even with music, music can overpower them to the point where they're going to just feel the beat and start dancing and all that kind of stuff. But just talking, you got to, hey, I'm up here. Listen to what I have to say type of thing.
I've noticed that with bar shows that I've done where like they're not like selling tickets to it. Basically, we're just posting up at a bar where people are already there hanging out, having drinks. I've noticed that causes problems sometimes with people
Yeah.
talking, not paying attention. But for this, like he's selling actual tickets to it, so like people know
Yeah, that's a
if they're
little. That
spending
usually
$10,
goes
they
a
know
little
what
better.
they're
Yeah.
paying for.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Good luck with that, and I hope it. I hope it's a fun gig for you, and I hope you get. I hope you get more continuing work for that. How far you have to travel for that?
It's 30 minutes or so. It's
Oh,
not
not
far from
bad.
my house.
Not
Yeah,
bad at
not
all.
bad at
Not bad.
all. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time. You know what? This Saturday night, I have a gig that's about 30 minutes away. First time I've ever played this place, but we'll see how that goes. Uh, I'm not positive about this. Last night, I had June Edward on, psychic medium June Edward, who's been on this program. You guys remember her?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she was like talking the Willie talk. The Willie talk. The Willie's
We would
in.
like to have her. We should have her on a Lord and the Lady. That'd be cool.
Well, I'll give you her contact. You can definitely
Yeah, that'd be great.
ask her about that. But she was talking to Willie's in talk. The Willie's in talk. You know the Willie's in talk.
Yeah.
You bring these things into your life. The energy you put out there or the thoughts you put out there will manifest in this. And I said I kind of disagree with that. I have to disagree with that because the best gigs in my life, I'm on the way to the gig and thinking it's gonna suck tonight. This is not gonna be any fun. This is gonna be the worst gig ever. And then I get there and it turns out to be the best gig. And I condition myself now to almost do the reverse psychology on myself to think.
Right.
Well,
Right.
just get in the car, even if I want it to be a good gig. There's something in the back of my head saying it might be a good gig. No, this gig's gonna suck. I tell myself that all the time. So I'm not. But she basically came back at me with the people you are gigging with. Their positive energy is overpowering your negative energy. I was like, maybe I gave her some points for that for even
Either
saying
that,
it.
either that, or what might really be happening is you're gonna have like one of the most horrendous gigs ever happen from all that energy that you've created on all these different gigs. It's all gonna pile on to one night that's just gonna be fucking shit show after shit show. That could happen.
That could happen.
Believe me, I've watched karma rear its ugly head in that fucking way. It fucking sucks.
Unless somebody's keeping a chart, though, keeping score, you don't really know.
The universe is keeping the chart. Believe me, the universe knows everything.
I'm talking about in our world, in the physical manifestation. Like back when I was studying to be a minister, we had to keep diaries. So that we could actually go back to things and say, okay, if we thought that this was actually going to be a pertinent event, we would record it and then see what happened.
The reason I brought this up was to bring it back to Mike for a second here.
No, it's too late. Mike's had his
Yes,
time.
me, please.
No, it's
Let's
not too
talk
late.
more about me.
It's not too late.
favor.
We could do this. Not too late at all. Basically, what I wanted to ask you about was mindset. Do you play games with yourself mindset wise, either before a gig or after a gig? Like for me, it's both ways. Like on the way to the gig, I'm talking to myself about the night. I'm saying and probably filling myself with too much negative energy. On the way home, it's analysis time. Are you that kind of the drive to and from is a mental game for you or not?
Yeah, the drive too. I'm usually going over my set in my head, kind of like in the car ride, like pretty much doing my set to myself in the car to make sure my timing's going to be all right and I'm not going to go over or come up short. On the way home, if I do well, then I'm happy on my drive home. If I don't do well, then delete the video that I took and keep it pushing.
Do you talk on the way home? Do you talk to yourself out loud?
Not usually. No.
I guess I'm alone in that.
Matt and I, we just want to keep the car on the road. That's all we want to do.
Yeah. Well, good luck Saturday night, and I hope you kill him and bring something to drop off at Chappelle's place, man. Why not? You're just down.
I'm actually going to be an action doll, a transgender action doll. I'm going to lay it on his doorstep, see what he thinks.
Well, good luck with that. That might actually get his attention, though. You know what?
I'm going to sign it Tom Segura.
All right. Very cool. Well, thanks for being part of the program, and good luck, and you're welcome back anytime. You know that, man. Thanks for being here.
Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys around.
Bye. Vander, go see him in Saturday night. Anyway, any thoughts from you guys on what I just said about the mind games going to and from?
Oh yeah, I mean, go ahead,
well,
GD.
I said my method of preparation is on my way while I'm driving, I just call people on the phone and talk about anything but the show. So it's because if I'm driving like 2 hours, 3 hours, I get on the phone and I'll just call people. Like I think even once I don't know if I've ever talked to Will from the phone from the car, but I'll just call. Usually it's people I haven't talked to for a while, and I'll talk about anything but the show. And then once I get to the show, I check. I breathe in the atmosphere and I do something else depending on where I am. If I'm the headliner, I actually mingle with the audience because usually I'm an unknown commodity. They're there because they're there to see comedy and they don't really know me. So I hear things, I listen to things, and I go, oh, that guy there does such and such. That guy, oh, okay. And so I'm listening to the crowd and stuff. And so once I get there and I'm doing my thing, I already know that guy there does such and such. And I can, look at them when I do such and such a joke. And but
let me just tell the people on the radio side, if you hear a new voice that you say, who the hell is that? Richard Lewis's best friend, Carl Mann, just joined us.
I wouldn't say best friend. I just sucked him off once round by the bins in New York.
Well, who hasn't done that? Who hasn't done that? I mean,
anything for a spot, right?
Anything for a spot, yeah.
I do want to say, GD, I'm glad that you mentioned that's your pre-show ritual. You have called me once. Okay. And to this day, I was very confused about the phone call because like it lasted for fucking ever. You talked to me for like 40 fucking minutes about nothing. And at the end of the phone call, I was like, why the fuck did he just fucking call me? Like he just called me and talked to me for 40 minutes about fucking nothing. And I had no idea what the fuck that was about. Now I know you were driving to a gig.
Well, now you do it on YouTube.
I because before, like all the time before the gigs, I'm like intent. My wife will tell you I have like a ritual I do at home, and I'm going over the material and I'm rewriting and writing it and shaping and stuff and rehearsing at home and stuff like that. And so then I need to like cleanse my palate.
Yeah, no, I get that. I totally get that.
And then just before the moments before the show, I have music that I listen to that gets the blood rushing. Okay, because now I know the material. Yeah, I know the material. The material is there. That's
I don't sweat my show.
Yeah. All I need now is that I just pump up the energy to become G.D. Fenderson, and I listen to my music for that. And once I'm on stage, it doesn't matter if it's 5 members in the audience or 500 members in the audience. They're going to get as much as I got out there, as much as I can. So.
What about the way home afterwards?
On the way home, if I'm driving if I'm by myself, I will call my wife and we'll talk about this. We'll talk about the show a little bit. She'll ask me like, how many people, how'd you do? And she always says, I know you did great. Even though I know I didn't always do great. And I think in her heart, she knows I don't always do great, but I always do a good show. The audience always has a good time. That's, to me, great is, did I nail every punchline I want to nail?
Right.
Because I would get in the car and I would go, fuck, damn it, how could I forget that one? That's.
Yeah.
So, and that's, and as soon as I finish talking to my wife, but sometimes while I'm talking to her, I'll go, shit, I forgot that. Oh man, I forgot that joke. I said, because such and such happened, I started on a riff, and I know I shouldn't riff. I know I shouldn't riff because I riff on tangents.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, okay, I get that idea that because I want to stick to my set list as much as possible. But if you don't address stuff that happens in the room, or sometimes it's necessary to depart from that. You know what I mean?
I agree with you 100%.
Because you reminded me of it. Mikey is he's my partner. Mikey. He is. I don't know if you would call it ADD. Whatever. He can't focus. I mean, he can't focus. He can't do 2 things at one time. He gets like laser focus. And we were playing this outdoor place, and there were thousands of people there, literally thousands of people having a good time. But one fat, ugly chick in the front, and she was doing this, and like, you stink. And he kept looking at me like, "What the fuck?" He's just like focused on this one person who thinks we stink, and she went to leave. Somebody, a bar guy, came up to her and told her she couldn't be out where she was with a drink or something, and she was pushing back, and it looked like she was leaving angry. And Mikey, he gets things in his head, like, and he just said, "Hey, stink." Because he just equated her with Stink Move, and he thought, her name was Stink. She ended up getting arrested that day. It made the paper. She was, but
absolute classic.
Well, I agree with everything you said, and the things the way my brain works, I will rift myself into a fucking corner, and I need like I said, my brain does not work like a normal brain. Like a lot of comedians, my brain, it's not normal.
Abby-normal.
I don't think most comedians have a normal brain.
Yeah. There's no such thing as normal. There is no.
The reason why I say that is because, like, so when I was young, I was tested multiple times.
All right.
Isn't that a Sheldon line from Big Bang Theory?
Sheldon Cooper. Yeah.
My mother.
When I heard him say that, I said, "Great." Yeah. Welcome to the pig. Welcome to the guinea pig.
Those bad nights, though, do stick in your memory. I'm doing a show next week, and the last time I was there a couple of years ago, I had a real bad time with two lots of hecklers, I guess, on either side of the room, and I just did not deal with it. There was one girl near the front just saying no, no, no. The promoter couldn't hear her saying that. I remember calling her a cunt. What I wanted to say is I want to beat your fucking head in with this microphone. I just got angry. I didn't deal with it. I just got angry with her. But she was sat there with this glass of wine bigger than her head, just going, no, 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 like over and over again. And at the same time, there was a couple that I know they dislike me, and they probably will be there next week as well. And the wife of this couple was saying, just move on. Just move on at the same time. Like,
I've been told that before. I've been told to move on when I was doing my Catholic jokes.
See, I've never been heckled. I've never been heckled in a show. In the 9.5 years I've been doing comedy, I've never been heckled, not once. In a competition, a comedy, in a competition, I've been heckled by the family of other comedians trying to throw me off my game, which
suck for that reason, and gong nights and stuff. You get people with agendas in the audience.
Yeah.
They want to vote you off, or people are supporting.
My wife got pissed off once. Actually, we both got pissed off, but I got pissed off in a different way than she did. My wife and I have two different ways of getting pissed off, but we heard them saying, this group of comedians walking around to the audience saying, "Don't vote for GD. Don't vote for GD. Don't vote for GD Fenderson. Don't vote for GD." And we're like, what? And at first, my wife heard it first because I was just thinking about the set. And then she pointed out, and I'm like, motherfuckers.
Were they in hoods?
She said, "What are you going to do?" I said, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? Walk around behind them saying, "Excuse me, I'm GD. Don't ignore what they said. Forget what they said. Vote for me." I didn't know what to do.
I'd address it when I'm on stage.
I'd already done my set. I'd already done my set, and I did it very well. And that's why they were going around telling people. Yeah.
So basically, GD Trump is saying that it was rigged, and he actually won.
No.
Anyway, you heard it here first. Westminster, Maryland, and surrounding area. GD is wanting to be heckled. He needs some more experience being heckled. So go wherever he is. Please do go out and heckle the fuck out of him.
He desires.
Just so you know, people, if you know who I am, you do not want to fuck with me. So don't heckle me. Heckle at your own risk.
That's a threat.
Maybe people don't heckle you because you threaten the audience. Maybe
that's I have made grown comedians cry, for fucking with me. A regular audience member has no chance. Don't fuck with me.
Enjoy the show. It when a comedian has a breakdown. It's one of my favorite things to see when they get genuinely sad or upset. and the angriest, and crying. It's one of my favorite things to see. I almost masturbate to that when I see it, and it's a glorious.
Oh my god!
I love it.
I have broken
Louis
down
C.K.
comedians.
Jr.
Yes, I have ripped comedians so badly that they cried. So I don't mess with me.
An open mic is so much better when the comic is crying.
I had a roast battle once with a guy, and I saved the nuclear. He actually won because the judge was a piece of shit, and he gave him the thing because he had 2 L's in his name or something. But I knew this guy. I know a lot about this guy, a lot. I did my research, and I just got an extra joke in the end, and it was kind of about him hitting his girlfriend, which was real. And the look he gave me on stage was one of my fake. Cause he wanted to punch me, but then he realized we're in a room full of people. I can't. Yeah, and he was getting slowly banned from every comedy venue in the country as well.
Yeah,
so
I've seen that happen to people.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't even say comics. Like there's some open micers when I was first coming up in Sioux Falls that just did super cringe material, and like after a while they started getting real creepy with some of the female comics and stuff, and like literally ended up either through behavior problems or saying stuff on stage that certain venues like it was a white dude that would bust out the N-word, and like there were some stages in Sioux Falls, and I don't think really anywhere in Sioux Falls, if you're not black, if you use the N-word, like you're never gonna do their stage again. Like you're gonna be blackballed from there immediately, which I think it should be the case.
Well, I heard
black,
on my
what
first.
if you? I'm sorry. What if you're black, but you're very light skinned, like my mother was, and
What do
you
you know about being
white?
black?
You know what I'm saying? You can pass the white and you do it.
Right. I mean, I don't know. You know, it does beg the question because, like, I wonder because quarter black Garrett. I don't know if he's actually a quarter black or whatever, but he looks white. Like you can't tell that dude is black at all if he's actually black.
Right. Depending on what state you're in, one drop of black blood makes you black. You know.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
On my first ever open mic, a comic, first set as well for him. He just recited Louis C.K.'s The N-word bit. He just went up and did that. And like the whole room, even it was my first set, but even I know it's like, no, this is bad.
I mean, that's not okay for a lot of different reasons, but Jesus, what the fuck?
I just want to put this out there for people who are watching on different networks. If you're on Governor's Comedy Facebook page or YouTube page, and you're leaving these comments, we don't see them. We only see the comments that are on the Mind Dog Network page, this is from like 45 minutes ago or so. Comments that I'm seeing now. If we're not ignoring you, we don't see those comments.
Head over to Matt Napo YouTube channel and Mind Dog TV.
Yeah, how come we don't see those? I don't. That sucks.
Because it's on a different channel. It's not plugged. It's not directly plugged into this. With all the governor stuff, they are taking the feed, running it through their own server on Vimeo, and then back out to their channels. I don't know why that is, which is part of the delay reason why we have to get
living
off
in 2011.
Yeah.
Hi, Governor.
Yeah. So one of the things I want, I don't know if this has ever happened to any of you guys, but for me, I gig a lot. And so there will be, especially when you're playing 4 hours a night, there's going to be some bad moments. But people in the audience who are taping on their phone always seem to post the very worst moment of any gig. And the last 2 days, one lady, her name is Diane Snyder, I think, she has posted probably about 30 of the worst, most embarrassing moments of the Rockin' 45. And she thinks she's being supportive. She's not doing it to hurt us or
missing a beat. It's all
when I happen to hit the worst fucking note in the universe.
Well, I get that with photos. A lot of it was years before I even got a half decent photo of me doing stand up. I just look like a disgusting, badly lit troll, like doing the worst expression or thing, just sweating for years. Yeah. That was the only pictures I had.
How do you respond? Do you ask them to take it down? Do you kind of?
Oh no, this is ones that other people have taken of me and then sent. So most people will send you the picture.
Yeah, but they put it all over all over social media, and it's like I was like, and they tagged me in it, and I was like, I have to go on and tag myself first, and then I'm like, is there any way we can get these people to stop doing this?
Yeah, well, I guess the good thing about comedy is that most people know not to film it and stuff, or that you tell them don't film it. So there's not a lot of unwanted footage out there, apart from the one Tony Hinchcliffe had a couple of years ago. There's not a lot of, yeah. Most people know not to do that. I think not everybody, but yeah, I wouldn't like something being put up that I didn't put up or have knowledge of.
I take pictures of the comedians at pretty much every show I do, unless sometimes I forget. If I'm the host, I'll forget because I'm busy trying to make sure things run smoothly. But if I'm just a participant, then I will take pictures of all the comedians, and I'll ask them, make sure it's okay if I post them. Because
I normally send them to the group or something, and yeah, if I was running something, I'll go, is this cool for me to post?
Well, I just posted to promote the venue itself as a way of thanking them for having me there, and whoever produced the show, thanking them. But once in a while, comedians say, like, don't post those pictures because I called in sick from work to be here, or don't post these pictures. I was supposed to perform at so and so, but this gig paid me more money, so I dropped them and came here.
I once did a charity gig for cancer. It was for kids with cancer, and I just did kids with cancer bits. But I didn't realize the parents were in the audience for a lot of those children with cancer. But what I did do on that gig as well, I knew some people that had bailed on that gig because they went and did a paid gig somewhere instead of the charity gig. And I just read out that I started by reading out their names and just saying, these are the people that bailed on this and they're getting paid in a gig 23 miles away. They went there for like £30. They're happy your children have cancer.
We did a gig once, and this woman who was dressed like a hooker was there with her husband. Her husband was watching the football game, and she was, I guess, pissed off about that and was going to flirt with the band really hard. But she came over by me, and she was lifting her skirt up while she was dancing, and she wasn't wearing any underwear. And somebody took a picture of that and posted it on Facebook. And it's like, my wife sees my Facebook page. It's not going to, even though I'm really innocent in this moment.
They took a picture of the thing behind the skirt. That's a crime now. You go to jail.
Yeah. Right. Well, no, the picture was from the side. You couldn't see the twack, but it was from the side. But you could see that she was doing this and she was doing, and like not just one shot, but it was like a series of shots and it's like, you know what, Kevin Mazur, who's a friend of mine. Kevin is a photographer of Rolling Stone magazine, and he tells a story about when he was a young photographer and he was just taking a picture without asking permission, and Robert De Niro saw him do it, and Robert De Niro came and grabbed him by the lapel and said, "Don't ever take a picture of somebody without asking their permission." And that I think everybody who goes out to a venue should get that talk. Don't ever take a picture without asking permission.
It's too late now. If you go into an event, it's
tough. Yeah, people take pictures.
People
all
be
the
filming
time. Pictures, videos,
live streaming it, and pictures, and
yeah.
I took Scott. I'm guilty of it. I do it. Like I take videos at concerts and stuff like that, and pan the crowd and shit, so people see how many people are there.
Yeah, I'll sit there and look at it and go. I look at an old gig with no phones, and it's like, I fucking missed that. We didn't know. We just there in the moment. But I also, if I'm at a gig and there's a song I really like, I'm going to film a little bit of it. I'm sorry, you all become the same problem.
Yeah. I've learned the art of like holding my phone like to the side of my face so that I can still watch it.
The same.
But I know that my phone, like
frame.
There's an art to that. There's totally
so you're still enjoying the moment, kinda.
Yeah.
But everyone else is also doing it. So you're not really being a dick.
It was stupid. Yeah, it was stupid that I was like, I realized one time when I was recording something, I'm like, I'm fucking watching this concert through my phone and I'm here. That's fucking stupid. And so then I started thinking about, okay, how can I record some shit and still watch and enjoy? Yeah,
Took Scott to Erica Rowe, Scott Braven, who is the bass player for the Rockin' 45, and he hasn't been to a lot of comedy shows, and he brought his big Nikon or Canon with major lens on it and all this stuff. And
Pervert
he
camera.
started taking flash photos.
No.
Get
Come
out.
on now.
And like
out.
the security came over to bounce us out, and I had to explain to him, like, he's a newbie, he's never been here before. We'll destroy the pictures or whatever. But it's just like, you know what, people, you
If you're
can't.
gonna take one, it's got to be subtle and make sure that flashes off. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I have a this is a film story and a drug story, but it's not a concert story. But I was traveling. I was not a musician or anything. I was just traveling to be traveling, and I had I used to take lots of pictures. I had a regular film camera. And I had like the film I had like 50 speed film. I had the 200 speed, 1500 speed. I had the speed film for every event, for action, for indoors. Matt knows what I'm talking about. There was like a film for everything. And so I had my camera bag and I had all this film in there. And I'm going through TSA and they're looking at the film. And I said, do me a favor. I said, inspect my camera bag by hand. I said, because I have films of different speeds, and I think the X-ray will fuck up my high-speed film that I use for action pictures. Like when I try to take pictures of lightning and stuff like that. And so, they said, okay. So they open up the film bag, and they get to like the first two canisters, and the first two canisters, the film is not exposed. It hasn't, so you can open up the cans. So that's okay. They let it go through. So I get out to LA. We're looking for drugs, and I'm like, man, we couldn't find any drugs at 4:00 in the morning, and I'm like, I can't believe we can't find drugs. So I'm like, I've gone through Texas. I'm in LA now. I'm back in Texas. Still can't find any drugs, and I'm like, man, I can't believe this. So I'm taking pictures and everything. I get back to Maryland. My last canister was filled with drugs. And I'd gone through like the airport, 4 different places, 4 different airports. And I told all of them to check my stuff by hand because I didn't want them to ruin the film with the x-rays. And the drugs was in my film canister. And I didn't know. I know.
What kind of drugs are we talking about here?
It was just really good pot. Really good pot.
That's not drugs.
But this is back in the 80s.
They would have arrested. They were a black guy going through an airport like years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the thing is, because I was so calm about it, because I didn't know I had the drugs, I was like, no, check this.
Stop calling it drugs. Call it weed. Call it weed.
Right,
I feel better if you call it weed.
You feel better. Okay. Or in order for Matt to feel better, my marijuana.
Call it marijuana, I guess.
Don't ever take a Mind Dog edible. Let me tell you that. It's because it's what Kat told me, because I had one of hers in Bisbee and I was fine. Well, I was fucked up the whole day anyway, so I don't know about fine. But I wasn't crying and couldn't move my arms and nearly get raped like when I took your one. But what she said was, because you had the mix, I think it was yours was, oh no, hers was maybe CBD and THC, and yours was just pure THC.
Yeah.
In her opinion, being an edible expert, the best are ones with a certain percentage CBD in there as well. And those gummies were so good, but I dumped them in the end because I was scared to take them to Nashville, even though I should have just taken them. But I had one in Bisbee and I was fine.
Thanks for reminding me. I have to pick some up today because I have not gotten really. I have not been high since New Year's Eve this year. I have not been high this year.
Wow, is that the longest stretch for a while?
But you've been sick all year. That's probably the reason why you haven't been high.
Exactly. But
night you're going to be up till 5 a.m. writing songs, looking at psychedelic moons.
I have weed. I can't smoke though. I can't. My lungs just can't handle it. So
you're going to have to become an edible guy.
I am totally.
What about a vape? Like, just get a vape pen or something.
That's probably going to hurt his lungs just as much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Smoking, really.
I did the vape for a while years ago.
Yeah.
The first time I vaped, I didn't know how powerful it was going to be, and somebody gave me a cartridge, and I didn't have the pen. I went to the local smoke shop, and he said, "No, you could try it here," and he hooked it up for me, and he called, take it easy. I'm like, I'm not getting anything, and I just kept sucking and sucking,
and then it hits you,
and then I let it out, and it was like, And then the next thing I know, I'm on the floor, and the guy's like waving his hand in front of me. He's like, "You okay?" Like I didn't think I was
Did
getting
you
I
get
did
anything.
one at a
passed
gig
out,
years
bro?
ago, and I was high as fuck. I didn't know. I was just like
Oh my
sucking on
God.
this pen. It looked like an actual pen that you'd write with, because obviously it's
Yeah.
illegal
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
so we've got to hide it. And then another fat guy cooks, Andy Baker, came here about a year ago, and he brought, it was just like a little USB stick. But I hit that like a few times an hour, and I was high. I was high as fuck for the whole night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But good.
Do the
Yeah.
vape stuff have like those extra carcinogen chemicals they put in just to?
I mean,
I would
I
think
would imagine.
so.
I don't know, but I think there's going to be a lot of new types of cancer from vaping. It's not good to put anything in your lungs. I mean, when
Yeah.
you've got like candy floss flavored tumors in 5 years, it's going to be fun for a while. But kids, the problem with those kids are vaping and stuff at like 12 years old. It's
Yeah.
and it's
You
the
got a
teachers
raspberry
can't
you
smell
tumor.
it like
but people
cigarettes
act
or
like
weed, right?
I was gonna say I was smoking at 8 years old. Like people, and believe me, I was not. I was probably the youngest among my friends, but all my friends were smoking at like 12 and 13. Every fucking single one of them.
Yeah.
You know, so like they act like it's a new thing. It's just a new version of what used.
Well,
What's
I
been
guess
going
with a
on
vape, it's easier
for
to
fucking ever.
get, it's accessible, and they can hide it easier because it doesn't smell and it's not obvious, so they can just do it in
Right.
class and stuff. They can't smoke
Right.
a cigarette in class, I guess, unless you're at a real
Whatever
bad
happened
school.
to just eating
I like
red
to do the
chips?
blueberry flavor, the blueberry lemon of the yeah. Like
Yeah.
I like those flavors because it's like
2000
blowing a Smurf.
2004, we were playing a biker bar, and I was overwhelmed by the smell of bubble gum. And I was like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck is it? It's there's
Yeah.
bubble gum all over
Bikers
this place."
vape like crazy.
The guy,
That's what dick.
no, this
That's
was
what
before
dick breath
vaping was a
smells
thing.
like.
The
That's
guy
what a
had
room full of bikers sucking each other off smells like.
It was before vaping. It was cigars. The guy he was buying cigars, but because people were so offended by the cigar smell inside the club that he went and bought bubblegum scented cigars. And I made a comment of what kind of pussy smokes bubblegum flavored cigars. And then before you know it, I had to fight like 4 big burly biker
Pussies.
dudes because they were all smoking bubblegum scented cigars.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
That's
no, it
fucking
wasn't
great.
awesome for me. It was like, oh shit, I can't, you know.
Oh god. That's
Matt,
that's a
when you-
great story. Thank you for telling us that.
Matt, when you had Tommy Chong on, did he tell you the story about Lottie the Body? The
No,
body, the woman wrestler who beat him up?
no. Oh yeah, at one point he did. I think on the last one when it was me and Will with him, he mentioned that, but I don't remember the full story. If you want to,
Well, if I remember correctly, I think it was because I don't want to get it wrong. That's why I was hoping you remembered it. Because
No.
I hate repeating stories and then getting it wrong. And somebody's no, actually, but I'll do my best. If I remember correctly, they were playing in. I'm going to say Chicago, but it could have been in Canada. It starts with a C.
it was in Canada. I know it was at his it was at his family's strip club.
Okay. So it was in Canada, and this is when they were still. I think they were still performing under Four Niggers and a Chink. And
You can't say that.
Sorry, which part can I say? Is
Any of it.
four?
You just say 4 N's and a C is the way.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can get away with the dink.
Now, all of a sudden, I'm going to
They
get.
can be racist too.
Yeah. No, you said it. It's over with. It's out there. Thank you, Govs. It's been a pleasure being on the Govs Network. Thank you.
It's just the name of his new band. It's fine.
Yeah, he's fired.
All right.
But go ahead, continue the story.
So her response. I think she was in the audience, and if I remember correctly, the story correctly, she had said something like, "I see the 4 N words, but where's the C?"
Right.
And I think that's what caused the fight to begin. I think it was his brother that she beat him up, right? She beat him up,
Right.
but I can't remember what caused the actual fight. See, that's why I'm missing the link. But basically, she was a bodybuilder and a professional wrestler, if I remember correctly, and a stripper.
Right.
Yeah, and so she could hold her own, and she did, and she pretty much manhandled Tommy Chong, and I think his brother had to help him. I think.
I haven't seen Tommy on a lot of pods lately. He was going through a period where he was on a different pod every single day. Haven't seen him do unless they're people I don't know about who are having him on, but maybe slowing down on that. Um, but he's got, last time he was on here, he was he did give a lot of new information about stuff that he went through as a kid, in growing up and being hospitalized for his first couple of years there and all
Right,
that stuff.
his legs being underdeveloped because otherwise he'd have been like a professional football player instead of a musician or comedian.
Right. Yeah, maybe it's time to call Tommy up and have him back on again if he's willing to come back on. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Ian, just so you know, the speed back then I had to use regular film, so I was
He's so
using slow
good.
motion. I was using fast action
Old grumpy
film
mama.
for those pictures that you're talking about.
Carl, what's going on with this March 6th thing that you're doing here? It is March 6th, right?
Yeah, I'm closing out a show in Bristol called Dirty Doves, and it's really special to me actually because it's not the first place I started, but when this night was set up years and years ago, it was just 6 comics and like 2 audience members in a dark room. And my buddy George, actually, you've spoken to George Willoughby.
Yeah.
He's built this night over years. He gets a good audience every week, and it's a completely different thing now. And I'll be returning to close that one out for the first time, so that's really cool. So
Well, if we have any listeners in the UK, go there. That's all I have to say.
Go to I can't remember the name of the place, but it's in Totterdown. The night's called Dirty Doves, but I can't remember. It's called the Dove or something. The bar that it's in. It's in a nice little separate room in there. It's George Willoughby runs it. Definitely go to that. And then the following Wednesday, I'm at the Arch Rivals in Worcester, which is another excellent night set up by a good friend many years ago, and he's built a really good thing. He's like the king of comedy in that town as well. So I'll be doing. So I'm going to be doing a lot more this year, a lot more of stuff that I'll post. I know I've been quiet, but I've been quietly trying to get better, and now I think I'm all right.
Ladies, if you're in the area and you run into Carl, kiss him on the lips. And when you kiss him on the lips, know that those are the lips that sucked off Richard Lewis.
Yes, and then you can post that picture on Twitter on the anniversary of his death.
Yeah.
Why would you Why would you disparage the recently dead that way? That's terrible.
Carl's not dead. He's sitting right here.
I mean, Richard Lewis, you don't want his dick in that mouth.
Not now, not the now dick.
Oh
no, that was young dick
when it was alive.
Yeah, fresh.
Yeah. Well,
that's why I like that on a Louis C.K. special a few years ago. I think he talked about, he likes Auschwitz or something like that. And he goes, not then, now. It's nice to have a gift shop. This reminds me of that.
Oh my God!
Is it okay? Is it okay to admit that we're Louis C.K. fans yet? Because I had, every time I brought up something,
I think
it's fine now. You'll still get a couple. When he released that Sorry special, the Sorry special, which is his second.
Yeah, the ever offended are still going to be offended. Yeah.
When I posted, this is one of the best Louis C.K. specials he's released. I immediately on Twitter is like, you are added to the list. Support sex offenders. I was like, fuck it. So some pictures on there adding people to the list. And I did lose. I mean, he calls himself a comic, but I know that he cut me off social media because I went to see Louis C.K. And then I posted stories about it because I'd had a few beers, which he and Adriani Paolucci reposted, which was nice. But then I said, would you rather go to a shit writing group in the southwest of England, which is what he was doing, or go and watch Louis C.K. live for an education? And then I think he cold me after that one. But that was obviously I was actively trolling that one.
The one thing I would want to talk to about if I had CK the opportunity to talk to him on the program would be about not because cancel culture didn't work on him. He actually improved his career. He took control of his career.
It worked in the sense that it cost him millions of dollars. It stopped his film being released.
Right.
And he couldn't tour for like 3 years though. He tried to come to the UK and they fucking protested him out.
Wow. I did not know that.
That's when he started doing gigs in like Israel and Texas for a while, just like
and the Ukraine during the middle of.
He was on the way to Ukraine when the invasion happened.
Right. Yeah.
I have Louis C.K. on the phone right now. Matt, when do you want him on the show?
Tomorrow. We have to say goodbye to